Hello my crafty friends, it's Terry from Veegstez Creates back with another crafty video for you. Today I am working on one of the brand new releases for January 2022, which is the iCrafter Ribbon Rosette Valentine add-on. There is already a base set, a ribbon rosette, that you can use that's got all of the pieces to make a ribbon rosette, and then there are several different add-ons that you can buy. So there's a Christmas add-on, and then for Valentine's Day there's this Valentine's add-on which has got lovely dies saying sweetheart, love you, be mine. It's got a lovely fishtail with little hearts cut out, the word love, a pretty snowflake. But I'm not going to be using it in the traditional way to make a rosette. I am going to be showing you how to use dies to emboss into cardstock. So I've cut down a piece of ivory sheen cardstock from Tonic Studios. It's double-sided, and I've cut it down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So American size A2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these 3 hearts in a random fashion all over the panel to create an embossed look. I'm going to do that off camera and then come back and show you what that looks like. I'm also going to be using this lovely fishtail. My colour scheme for today is cream and blues and sort of turquoises. So this card would be suitable for someone that likes those sort of colours. So we're going to end up with a lovely embossed background, and then I'm going to use one of these sentiments to actually create the sentiment, and I'm going to have love you as that one. So in case you have never embossed with a die, most die cutting machines will have either an embossing mat included with them or something that you can buy as an addition. So essentially you put the embossing mat, you'll have to refer to the sandwich for your particular die cutting machine, but you'll incorporate that into the sandwich and it will prevent the die from cutting, and it's just it gives such a wonderful effect. It's similar to an embossing folder, but obviously you can use it with any die, so it's a really effective technique. So I'll go ahead and do that off camera and cut out my bits and pieces and then come back and then we'll assemble the card together. Okay my friends, so our completed card is going to end up looking something like this. I did as I said I would, which was using these 3 dies to emboss a lovely pattern onto the card panel. I've now trimmed this card panel down to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. I then got a panel of this lovely turquoise single-sided holographic card, and this is obviously a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch ivory white card. So obviously that's the border cutting to 4 by 5 1/4, and I've cut this mat to be in between those 2 sizes, so it just gives a nice little border around there. So that needs sticking onto that. Then in terms of the other pieces, I used the lovely fishtail die to emboss again into the same Turkish turquoise, and you can see how you've got the lovely heart effect there. This type of technique does tend to work best with mirror card and pearlescent card, because you end up getting a really nice result, and obviously with the shine and things it does tend to work better with those types of cardstock. I decided I wanted 2 fishtails of different lengths, so the other one, just using it as intended, creates this die cut. Drew round the die, cut it out, then put this over the top and then just trimmed it down a bit so that it fits perfectly, so that you see the light blue pearlescent cardstock through it. So because I used the die which gives you lots of little dropout hearts, I've now got lots of little hearts, teeny tiny little hearts to use as embellishments. So Oh, and then the one last thing to show you is the the actual love you sentiment. So again, I got a piece of this denim ripple specialist cardstock. I drew around the die in pencil and then cut it out, but the scissors I was using were a bit large for that purpose, so it's a bit wonky. So what I'm going to do is stick this down, and then once it's stuck in place, just trim the edges so that it looks perfect. So there we go. So there's just the assembly to do now. So I'm going to use some nice strong glue, but that also gives us a bit of wiggle time. So we're going to glue. I'm going to use wet glue for all of this, and then I'm going to mount the actual sentiment, the love you sentiment, up onto foam pads as well. So with this being blues, I say it's suitable for anybody that likes the colour blues, but if you do sort of struggle for masculine cards, and the person you want to give it to likes blue, then this might be an option. My husband really likes green, and I was thinking of making something like this for him actually, but using greens. So it's very versatile, but I just really wanted to share the technique of embossing using dies, because it's just another way to stretch your supplies. And I think as card makers and paper crafters, the more ways we can find to use our products, the better, because we get more bang for our buck. That's always a motto of mine. So sort of looking at, you know, okay, how can I use this in different ways? Is it just a one-hit wonder? And it's not. I mean, as you can see, you know, this set is designed to be an add-on to the ribbon rosette, which is sold separately, but it's so much more than that. I'm sure some of my inspiration team member colleagues will actually use it to make a rosette. And in fact, I had thought of making a rosette and then putting like a pin clasp on the back, and then just sticking it onto the front of a card with some Velcro, so that the person could then remove that. So if I put like a nice, like, you know, #1 husband or something in the middle of there, or, you know, #1 girlfriend or something like that in the middle, the person could then just detach it from the card and then wear that, you know, for the day, which I think would be a really sweet idea and really easy to do. So there we go. So this, it will only leave a very skinny border, but I think that's all we need, to be honest. Okay, so next I'm going to grab some tweezers, and then just apply some glue on here and attach it to the blue one. I will list all the supplies used in today's video tutorial in the description box below. The die set from iCrafter, and also the cardstock that I've used. So if you particularly like any of the cardstock, I'll link that below for you as well. There we go. So I'm going to have this one here, and then I want this one to be shorter. Actually, so I'll glue this into place as well. So I'm going to cut that use my pencil. Hope that that's straight. Which it seems to be. Yeah, there we go. So I want those there. I want this here. These scissors by Tim Holtz, I do really like these, and they're really good for small, for fussy cutting and things like this, because the blade's very sharp, and it does enable you to get into small places. So I would recommend these scissors. If I can find them, I'll link them below again for you. Oh, that looks pretty even, I think. So I'm going to attach this one. I don't tend to use lots of blue in my card making, but I have got some beautiful blue coloured cardstocks and speciality papers and things. So with it being winter, and sort of blue being part of the winter colour palette, I thought I would do today's card as blue and cream, or ivory. If you're used to watching my videos, you'll know I tend to use lots of turquoise and aqua pool kind of colours and purples. They're my sort of go-to palette, and pinks as well of late. But I do think it's nice sometimes to just push yourself out of your comfort zone and just try different things, and then, you know, you might discover new colour combinations that you wouldn't have necessarily thought of. So there we go, quite like that. I want that about here. I know that both sides of the foam pads are sticky, but I always like to add some wet glue to enable some wiggle time. But I think that looks nice. Okie dokie. And then I'm going to use these little fall away hearts, and again, if you wanted to have some different coloured hearts, you could just cut out that strip again in like the holographic card, or the this pearlescent card, to give yourself a range of different coloured hearts. I'm just going to pull out the other embellishments that I thought might go well with this. So these ones pick up the colours around them. So they're clear, but they have this little backing on them, which enables them to pick up all the colours around them, and I just think they're gorgeous. They're really pretty, but not too in your face. I do find that something like a jewel picker or a wax pencil or something like that is really handy for when you're using tiny little embellishments, because it's really difficult to apply them with your fingers. And there we go, my friends, the completed card. So if I hold it right up to the camera, you can see all of the lovely shimmer and shine from the pearlescent cardstocks that I've used in the mirror card. So it's nice and blingy, and also these little embellishments, but it's still subtle. It's not over the top and in your face. And you know, this is just an example of how to use dies in a different way, and also how to use a die set in a different way to how it was originally intended. As I said, all the products used will be listed in the description box below, and I'd love to hear what you thought about this video and whether you like the card. And I'll see and speak to you soon with some more crafty goodness and inspiration. Bye for now.